Good evening.
Doughboy.
Welcome to week 4. Downfalls.
Week five.
We're finishing up week 4's downfalls and devastations on this side of the table again. But yeah, heading into week 5 now, things are starting to get interesting. You got bye weeks coming up, more injuries, players coming back from suspension, players coming back from IR stints. It's a lot, but we can get started with how was your weekend of fantasy?
Yeah, it's pretty good overall. I got my first KFFL loss. I didn't have a bad week. I think I got 124. I did pick up and start Geno last minute, which, boosted me over the Wentz replacement, 20-something points, so that helped. I did win that side bet with Mike O'Day, who sent over the Steeds already.
Good stuff.
So that's good. Good doing business with you.
It's always nice to win a prop bet or a side bet.
I went 4-2 across my leagues.
I think I had another 0-4. It's fucking crazy, man. It's just now like I can use the. I normally don't. I don't work Sundays. I haven't worked Sundays, but we're so short-staffed that I had to work this Sunday, and I had to work the Sunday coming up. So week 4 and week 5. I caught the inactives for the first game, which completely crushed me in KFFL. I lost Kamara and I lost Thomas from my starting lineup, on top of already losing Amon-Ra for the week. So I already planned on just it's a loss, but at least put some points up for tiebreakers. And then I missed the late change where Zay Jones was scratched, so he was my Michael Thomas replacement, and then everything was just downhill from there. So I ended up putting up 109, but leaving 15 potential points on the bench that could have been in. I mean, my opponent went off anyway, so I wasn't winning. Maybe it's different if Kamara and Thomas start, but
sure.
Yeah, it's just a devastating. That was part of my draft strategy, waiting and getting the cheaper players that had injury problems. But yeah, losing the top 5 receivers, tough, real tough.
Yeah, I went up against Eckler and Tyreek, which is a nice one too to face.
I had Eckler on my side, but wasn't enough.
With an optimized lineup, I would have won.
I didn't end up on the sidebar for worst manager, any bad positions, bad beat. My name stayed off the sidebar this week, so that's an accomplishment, especially when you lose and you put up a 0 in a player spot. But yeah, just devastating. And then in my dynasty, it's 250 buy in dynasty, progressive keeper, and I had a claim in for Jared Goff for $2. And I said, no one's going to claim him. I don't need to waste $2. So I waited for waivers to clear. No one claimed him. And then I forgot to add him and left Wentz in my starting lineup and lost because of it. So it's a rough week, man. It's been very rough.
It is. I hate having. We got some gnarly injuries.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff to get to. A lot of stuff. Waiver wire to get to. Injuries to get to. We can look over our results from this week and see. I mean, like I said, there's no excuses when you lose. You lose because it doesn't matter. You lose. A loss is a loss. I hate dwelling on losses, but fantasy it's a little bit rougher. But just need to plan my bathroom breaks accordingly at work this weekend and make sure I'm on top of everything.
Yeah. I tried not to do too much tinkering last minute. I did do the Geno. I'm pretty confident. What I really didn't want to do was have to drop anyone for Geno. If I'd have had a more scratch-worthy, because I had to drop St. Jones for him. Granted, that was before he was out, but I still really like St. Jones moving forward.
Yeah. Well, the crazy thing, and we can touch on it later. We can touch on. I mean, it's our show. We do whatever we want. The Zay Jones thing tilts me off because Agnew filled in, and Agnew got all of his work, which is huge, and it says a lot for Zay Jones's work going forward. But it's come on, bro. Don't show me what I could have had, because I know it's gonna that. His production down there is gonna be that. He's gonna be a 6 to 9 target guy. He was getting fed, and Agnew took over that spot and got fed just as much, if not more. It's not a. I think we touched on it last week. They're not a great team, but they're a great fantasy team. That's a fantasy offense you want to have pieces of. And
it's weird to say, but I totally agree. And They actually didn't look too bad. I mean, Philly's defense is legit, and that game was nasty. It was wet.
I felt like a genius, too, because we sat up here and we touted the Eagles' defense, and then I put a $15 claim in for him and got him and started him, and they gave me 15 points. So I got exactly what I wanted, but my $15 Zay Jones ad got me 0. So
I still think I think he's a starter
I'm
guy
fine
right
with
now.
him.
Yeah,
I'm fine.
Assuming he plays, of course.
if I lose two of my top, I mean, Michael Thomas isn't a top receiver, but like if he's getting fed, he's a top receiver. But losing Amon-Ra and then having to sub out Michael Thomas and then just missing the 0, like I have Robert Woods to slot in, who now looks like he's going to get more work because Traylon Burks got hurt. So like I have the pieces, it just I didn't get to put them together. But like I said, I don't think I was beating my opponent. They put up 140 plus, and like I think after I did the numbers, like I probably could have put up like 126. So like I was still getting beat. So as long as we're putting up points for tiebreakers, that's all that matters. Just the rally now, play tighter.
I actually benched CH this week, even though he's been an absolute star. And he was again, but it was James Conner against Carolina. They're terrible. I just thought he'd get more work, which he did fine.
So
he just,
bad.
CH outscored him, I think, by 8 or 9. And then Kirk had his worst game of the year. I had Lazard on my bench. And then I got Zach Ertz on my bench. I have Mark Andrews. Like, I could never start Zach Ertz, but
no, he's fine to have there. Like, you can also trade him later on. Like, he's getting touchdowns and he's getting targets now. So,
he's great. He's like tight end 3 or 4.
Yeah, he was like one of those just sit and wait. Like, you don't need to pick. That's like this. I have Gerald Everett now, and I'm comfortable where I am with Gerald Everett because I know he's going to get targets.
Especially
he went
with
off
Keenan
this
out.
past week. Yeah, but like, there's some of those tight ends where you can wait. But I understand, like we talked about last week, with you targeting Andrews for a specific reason. Like, I get it. I like to spread that money elsewhere, but yeah, like you can find these tight ends, and we have I think we have a nice little list later for the waiver wires as well.
I don't hate the tight end list.
No, I mean this is like the first year in I can't remember how long where you can go to the waiver wire and pick up a tight end and put it like just slot them in and you'll 6 to 10 points. You can find that. But there was years where you couldn't find that and it was terrible. Like it was just a graveyard. No points, no targets, and nowhere to be found. So if you didn't get one of the top guys, that was it.
Just as teams are passing more in general, some of these guys are just getting, a few more targets, full PPR value.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, do you want to pull up? let me see if I can find the league leaders. I know we have that page. I want to see if we can find them. And
so I got home in time to check out some of the Degen Huddle. They went over it, and Alex Taub scored 190
something. Yeah. I think that's the second time they did it too.
His whole team is the Chiefs. He's got Mahomes, Kelsey, CH, Juju.
He's live again this week.
It's sure. It's feast or famine, but he's feasting so far.
Yeah.
It's a bold strategy. I don't know. It's just I feel like
you go down, then like everyone goes down. That's if you lose Mahomes, like you pretty much lose like everyone for the most part. Yeah. Like Kelsey will probably still get his, but not on the level he was getting it before. Which is thinking about situations like that is just brutal, especially if you have I have Kelsey, so like if Mahomes was to go down, I wouldn't be like devastated. It would suck because like you're with Mahomes, you're getting 10 plus targets easy. Without Mahomes, maybe you're getting less just because they're just gonna dump off more to like Jerick McKinnon potentially. Even like to touch on the CEH benching, like I think it's okay. Like his workload the first couple of weeks was getting split up between him and McKinnon. Is it McKinnon that's there? Yeah, McKissick's in Washington, McKinnon's in Kansas City, and then
really
Pacheco's starting to get more work as well. So it's like there's a little value on CEH, and maybe it's trade value for the people that don't believe in that, but want that kind of player on their team. But I don't know. Like I guess you're in a good spot where you don't have to start him. Like my wife, she has on her league, and she has him riding the bench because he's not good enough. Like she has Saquon, Henry, and Damian Pierce is her starting running backs, and then CEH if she has to slot him in for like a bye week or something. So,
all right, that's a good problem. Yeah, I mean,
it's a good problem to have for sure.
I've seen a lot of people talking about him being a trade away target, and I mean, I get that he's not super utilized like some of these other guys, but you get 12 touches in Kansas City, you're startable. I mean,
having any running back in a high octane, like Devin Singletary has value because that's a high octane offense. They're going to score. They're going to get close. Like you just have to worry about Mahomes taking the touchdown away from him with his legs instead of letting the running backs do their spot. So, that's the only worry. But yeah, having any asset, especially, I think I like the running backs in the high octane offenses. Like I say, if you get inside the 20 and you're a good enough running back, you're going to get touchdowns. Like you're going to get yours, and that's they have 3 solid running backs, and the fact that they're getting the rookie involved a little more is. I don't like seeing it as a Raiders fan, but it's for fantasy purposes, it could be good, especially like if you need a slot in for one of them that's they get injury or have to miss time, like plenty of options to slot in and just maintain that point, the points that are getting distributed. But,
well, should we get into it?
We can. You want to start with? What do you want to start with? You can pick a position. I don't like starting from the top to the bottom. We can start wherever.
Well, I think wide receiver might. I don't know.
What
Running
was
back's
the
probably where people are hurting the most.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. What position are we going to spend more time on? Probably running backs, I would think.
Yeah, because a lot of these guys they're not clear cut, I'd say.
So maybe we start because I have a lot. Like we have our list. But like I have a couple things in my head that I want to talk. Let's do running back last.
Let's go. Oh, you're gonna do it last? Okay, I got you.
Yeah, let's do it last. Let's do wide receiver. There wasn't that many injuries to worry about for wide receiver. I feel like running back there was a couple that were like devastating.
Yeah, we had some shifting stuff in running back. All right, let's go to wide receiver.
Here's our list of wide receivers. I am on the left. Jungle is on the right. And we share on 3 players. 3 players? No, 2. Pickens, Gallup, and that's
Jones.
It. Jones. Yeah. All right. So 3. That's not bad. I think we were on the same boat last week.
How you feeling about Pickens?
Mitch is terrible. Pickett's gonna have Pickens is on their ad because I feel like he's gonna get targeted, but I don't think unless you're in like a deep league or like you're dead at the position, I don't think you're starting Pickens anytime soon. Like their schedule coming up is brutal.
Yeah, I mean, I've got him as number 1, not because he's who I'd start first next week, but because he's the kind of guy who he could end the season on like, that Jamar Chase tear or something wild. Pickett loves him. Pickett looked better than his stat line, but he's a rookie quarterback on a team with a bad line. And
no incompletions, that was a good thing to see. 3 incompletions to the other team, and then the rest to his team was pretty nice. But I think that schedule the next couple weeks is kind of brutal. He's like at the end of the season, like if it gets a little softer, they have a nice 3-game stretch where it's soft, then you could potentially flex him in. Or if he's just getting peppered with targets, then slot him in. Targets turn into opportunity, and points are on the horizon.
PFF actually said that he should have had 0 interceptions. So, take that for what it's worth. But
I think Gallup is my 1 this week. Pickens being, I could see Pickens being 1 as a priority, but I think I like Gallup as my 1 this week. And then Zay Jones is probably 2, 3. I like 2 if he's going to play this week. I like him as like the 2 potential 1 ad just because of the targets. The Gallup situation, I don't know if Dak's coming back this week. I know they took him off like the injury report, but Jerry Jones is saying stuff, and so that's their guy. That's their number 2. That's who they like. So
Russ had a similar injury last year. He came back early and he looked terrible. So I just don't know why they'd rush him back. Like Cooper Rush looks okay,
Yeah.
So
I mean, Rush. He was on the field. He had 3 targets, 2 catches, 24 yards. I was the fortunate one to bet the over on his yards for the day at 26.5. So I'm so hyped that he got 24 yards and didn't see another target for the entire second half. That was beautiful. But yeah, like he was on the field. He's going to get targets. They do like him. Noah Brown did get injured, so like this is a good spot for Gallup to be in right now.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I don't know. We so rarely actually seen anything that you really want to start week to week with Gallup. But
Yeah,
you could do.
I mean,
you could do worse if you're hurting.
He could be a flex. He could definitely be a flex if you don't have it there.
Honestly, that's kind of how I feel about a lot of these guys. I got Rondale Moore up there at second, and that's more because I think you could start him this week, not because I think he's going to be your season savior. There's still a lot going on there. Hopkins is coming back.
You get Hopkins in 6 or 7.
What's that?
Hopkins is eligible to play 6 or week 7.
He had a 6-game suspension. I don't know when their bye is. So he's 7th game, whenever that is.
They don't have a bye. They don't have a bye until like week 12 or 13, I think.
I think the guy, honestly, on here that is most likely to score the most points for the rest of the season is Isaiah McKenzie.
Gabe Davis doesn't look like he's. Gabe Davis is doing Gabe Davis things, but like they like McKenzie. Allen likes throwing in the ball.
Crowder broke his ankle, so he's done.
Crowder also they just signed him up too. Like, well, not like just signed him, but they just added him. But yeah, McKenzie should be getting action in that offense. That's one of those offenses. Like those 3 receivers could all easily hit double-digit points every week on a good day.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's in concussion protocol right now though. So keep that in mind. Now, if he doesn't play, they got that Khalil Shakir 5th-round rookie you could start him if everyone else is out.
That's
Kumero's out. I mean, they don't have anybody else, and that slot's always
tough.
been.
Yeah, I mean it's.
Yeah,
I feel like it's easier for the defense to defend them if they're losing all these players, but I don't know. That would be a risky for me. It would be a risky start.
It's a DFS play, definitely.
Yeah, it also depends on your lineup structure and if you actually need it or not this week. Like if you're hurting bad, sometimes you got to dive deep to get what you need.
Yep. Corey Davis, he's just got chemistry. I mean, he loves
Zach Wilson's starting back this week, so we might see we might see a lot of receivers pop up that Falco or Flacco wasn't using.
He started this week, yeah.
Did he start the whole game? I didn't watch that game. There's no way I was watching any of that game.
Yeah,
I just know that. All right. I saw he
looked all right.
Yeah.
I mean, they won.
I saw Conklin got targets. So, I saw he was still targeting, the usual suspects.
Yeah, Garrett Wilson is involved. But, I mean, he loves Corey Davis. So, Corey Davis can stay healthy. It's whatever. And then Jacoby Myers may be back from injury this week. We'll see.
That's no longer giving any attention to New England at this point. I can't do it.
I mean, I never really was, but
yeah, it's just for fantasy. It's another one of those teams. We have to talk about it. He could get. We don't know what this Zape kid is capable of. He obviously played a scripted game this past weekend. They tried their hardest to give the Patriots the win and cheated for them. They tried so hard. I don't know if you watched the highlights or any of that. The clock management, play clock went to 0, and an additional 2 seconds ran off the clock. They snapped the ball, no flag, and they threw a touchdown pass and tied it up.
I did not see that.
Yeah, dude, it was terrible. It was so bad. The play clock literally went to 0. 2 seconds ticked off. Just 2 imaginary seconds went. They snapped the ball, threw a touchdown pass. Can't challenge it. Refs didn't even acknowledge it. It was nuts. They ended up going to overtime with the Packers, and Packers, thankfully came out on top. So
one guy who's not on the list here that I feel like we could touch on real quick is the I was surprised to see Robert Woods is still like 69% rostered, but that rookie Kyle Phillips got a bunch of targets week 1. He's been hurt. He might be coming back this week.
Yeah, I mean,
he's one. Like him.
He's one they're gonna. Well, Traylon Brooks was getting work. Like he was there. I don't think he was their like true number 1, but he was getting more targets than Woods, and Woods was supposed to be their number 1. But Woods is gonna get his. I feel. I don't feel like he's like. Hate saying it. Like he's not Allen Robinson in a new offense, essentially, where Allen Robinson is supposed to be the number 2. We all thought, but Woods came in with no rookies to be the number 1, and then with Burks, I feel like they liked him more than Woods, but Woods was going to get his no matter what. It just when.
Well, when they signed Woods, they still had AJ Brown, I think, right? So
draft night they got
always kind of the number 2.
Yeah.
But I mean, Kyle Phillips could be interesting if he's back.
They're gonna have to. I think they're gonna have to throw the ball to win. I mean, they're gonna have to throw the ball regardless. They can't just
better. If they can just get back to. I mean, Derrick Henry's looking good. He's getting some targets.
I don't know what their schedule's like either. We get Hopkins week 7 against New Orleans first week, so that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Who were we just talking about? What was the player we were just talking about? I just got a brain fart. Kyle Phillips.
I did have a couple other guys. I mean, somebody on the Giants has got to catch passes, right? So,
the tight end.
Wan'Dale Robinson, when he comes back, he was looking good in preseason. He's electric. They don't seem to actually hate him like they hate Kadarius Toney. So,
Galladay somehow got hurt, like where he had 1 target, 43% of the snaps he played, and he got hurt somehow. So yeah, that's like Saquon or bust, honestly. Like if you have Saquon, chew him in there and just hope that he's doing what he, just 100+ yards, 20+ touches every week that he's been getting. Just hope for that. I can't imagine starting anybody else on the Giants, like unless you actually have to.
No,
it's so hard. So hard. But yeah, Donovan Peoples-Jones had close to double-digit targets the first 2 weeks, fell off in week 3, and I guess I want to go back and look because Cooper didn't get any work at all. So maybe it was a coverage issue where they were just doubling up on Cooper and Jones was able to eat again. But
I also think it's just a number of total plays issue.
Yeah,
I mean, Atlanta ran the ball 14 times in a row for like a 85-yard touchdown drive. It's not good. That's brutal.
It's not good. It's not good because Atlanta's not terrific. But yeah,
fair statement. Yeah,
they're not terrific. I'm kind of upset, like because I thought Mariota was going to be better than he's playing, but I guess he's just not. He's just the same old Mariota that he was. Like when he filled in the one game for the Raiders, he looked fucking spectacular. But that also could have just been John Gruden making him look good with the play calling.
I mean, you come in on a one-off like that, the defense isn't ready for your play style. It's a little different to repeat it. Yeah.
It's definitely rough. But yeah, I can't like anything like plug and play for this week. I think if you need to pick somebody up and start them, I think it's Gallup, Zay Jones, maybe Corey Davis, and if Keenan Allen's out again, Josh Palmer potentially.
Mm-hmm.
And if Mckenzie's out of protocol, then he get pushed up the list higher.
I think he's my. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you're right.
Alec Pierce is like starting to get work now. I don't know how great it's going to be. He's more of like a grab and see what happens because the Colts.
I think if Pittman's out, I mean,
hopefully he's not out. I would like to see him not be out, and then I guess monitor Jonathan. Well, I guess we get the running backs. We'll talk about Jonathan Taylor and all that shenanigans. We'll stay on wide receivers. I suppose Matt Collins. Like I'm not like. Matt Collins is something. Matt Collins, Pierce, and Palmer are like 3 that if I can't get the top 4 on my list, Pickens, Jones, Gallup, and Peoples, then the bottom three that I have there are people I'm okay picking up and hopefully not having to play. I think they're just going to progress further. I mean, Hollins is going to be getting targets the longer that Renfro's out. And I don't know the timetable on Renfro. I think maybe potentially he's back this week against the Chiefs. But
yeah,
whether he's 100% or not is a different story. And then if Keenan Allen's out, Josh Palmer's fine, I guess, in deeper rosters. Or unless you actually you're dead at the position, you have to play somebody.
I think if Keenan's out and Palmer's healthy, it's worth
I like
going.
Palmer. He was a fine fill-in previous weeks, but
with Crowder out though, I just think McKenzie's he's an absolute easy start wide receiver 3. He's gonna get 7 targets. So just gonna see if he makes it out of concussion protocol. He's only 43% rostered.
Yeah, no updates yet since yesterday. Yep, no updates on that. But yeah. I mean, he was on the field 48% of the snaps. He had 6 targets and a touchdown. He's had a touchdown in 3 of the first 4 games, which is pretty good. Like that's what you want. It's not.
He's basically splitting that slot work. So now that he won't be.
Yeah, let me see. With Crowder was still getting less playing time, but yeah, with that he'll probably if McKenzie's healthy and no Crowder, his like 5 to 8 targets turn into maybe more, which is nice.
Yeah,
Crowder was taking about 4 targets a game away from him, it seems. So yeah, high octane offense, high octane. You get points. You want the points. So
indeed, too.
so bad. So all right, let's move on to. Let's go to quarterbacks next.
Sure.
Go to quarterbacks next. I have a new rule. It's any quarterback against the Lions. And this week, Zape lines up against the Lions, so he makes the list. Assuming he's starting.
I'm pretty sure it's Zappy.
Zappy, Z-Man. I'm just going to call him Z-Man. I like the name, but yeah.
I saw some meme that said, Bailey Zappi looks like the actor that they hired to play Mac Jones in a movie about Alabama.
I saw the picture. I was like, this is terrible. Poor guy.
Oh, man. Well.
But yeah, it seems like it should be easy to script plays against the 37th ranked defense that the Lions have. So, I feel like any quarterback that if you need a quarterback week to week from here on out until the Lions prove otherwise, you can pick up and start them against the Lions.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to prove otherwise.
No, because they made Geno Smith look like an MVP. So,
yep, I picked him up and played Geno this week. Was pretty happy with the outcome. Also bet that over. I was in Reno this weekend.
Yeah, that's also like another like little micro alpha tip. Always bet the over with the Lions games. But yeah, that's going to be crazy. If that's how games are going to end up, then it's pretty predictable, and you can plan for the future matchups. Which is
on that same note, I mean, Goff's he's QB6 on the year. He's a must start.
Yep, number 1 offense, number 37th ranked defense. It's kind of nice.
Yeah,
it's probably the best combination to have
for fantasy.
Always going to be thrown to catch up, so that's what you want. So yeah, I'm probably going to look to add Goff this week, and if I get outbid on him, then Winston's probably my next target, assuming he's healthy. All he does is throw. So
that's the issue. Like, he's got some sort of spinal fracture going on, so whether he's even if he plays, you're always worried he's not going to be next week.
Yeah, it's rough. I'm worried about the other. I'm not worried so much about Jameis Winston. I'm worried about his Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara so much. If Winston starts, I guess he'll still be fine. But like, not having Kamara and not having Thomas to soak up additional targets becomes a little bit more predictable to guard Winston and play script against him, I guess. But yeah, if he's healthy, it's hard. It's hard not to put him in there unless you have other options. I think if you have a way to get the Jared Goff, you want Goff first. That's my number 1 target this week on the waiver wire. Assuming that Dak isn't coming back this week. If Dak comes back this week, then I guess I have to start Dak.
I'm not. If Dak's coming back, I'm not starting him.
It's
I'll
like
start-
I don't want to
on here.
Yeah, I'll do that. Like I'll just drop the current shitty quarterback I have, but I feel like Dak's one of those like it's not a must start. He is a must start, but like
Not
bad
coming
that
off
is.
that.
Yeah, depending how bad that injury was for
Thumb
him,
on his
like,
throwing hand. I mean, it's Russ, who went from historically just being incredibly accurate, could not hit anything when he came back. I was actually at that first game back. It was in Lambeau, and I mean, he looked terrible. They got shut out.
with respect, he still looks terrible. But that's obviously post surgery.
I mean,
he's fine. I think maybe the coaches don't know what the hell they're doing with play calling. Like I feel like a lot of the game, maybe you can test to it being a Hawks fan. I feel like they let him do his own thing a little bit more. Like they let him have the keys to the car.
Sounds like I didn't watch this game, but at least parts of it. But it seems just like the plays are coming in so late. I saw I can't remember the beat reporter for the Broncos, but he was essentially saying they are trying to give him a lot of rain, and they're getting the play in at 12, 15 seconds, and then he's supposed to pick one of the three that got called in, and I think it's just trying to get everybody lined up.
Someone on the other side of the controls isn't doing their job the right way.
Yeah. So, but I mean, if that is the case, if that's the issue here, then they're going to get better by that week by week. He might.
That is, yeah. So maybe he's one of those mid-season acquisitions, like for fantasy. Like if you got to make it a couple last fine-tuning adjustments for your playoff push. Maybe he's one of those if he's starting to come around because we know what he's capable of. We know what he can do when he's on. But he just hasn't been on. So yeah, I mean, I've had it on my roster quite a few times. I've enjoyed the 30+ point games from Russell Wilson on occasion. So if it's no help that he's losing a starting running back, but that's another topic for another segment.
Indeed.
And then Zach Wilson, I don't know if you pick him up and start him right away, but if you need a quarterback,
you have Miami. So, I don't know. In a 2-quarterback league, maybe.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Yeah,
I'll agree with that. If you're in a league where everyone in your league drafts 2 quarterbacks and you're really hurting right now, then I guess you have to start Zach Wilson. I have a friend who's in one of these leagues, 12-team, and everyone except for him drafted 2 quarterbacks, and he took Tua, and here we are. So... But he went out and picked up Zach Wilson last week in anticipation of him coming back and starting. So I don't know if he's going to start Wilson this week or if he's going to try and get Teddy Bridgewater to fill in. Teddy looked all right. Looks terrible, but he knows who he has to throw the ball to, and that's good.
You know what?
I always liked Teddy.
I would start Teddy over Zach Wilson.
Yeah, like I don't think Teddy's terrible. Like I never did really think Teddy was terrible. I just think.
Well, he had such a horrific injury.
Yeah.
I mean, he's lucky he ever came back from that. He tore everything.
I was on the Teddy train on draft night because the Raiders are still looking for a quarterback, and I wouldn't have been upset with Teddy. I don't think it would have panned out the same way, but
I think they still are.
Poor Teddy, my man's. I hope he has a good week this week. I mean, the Jets are going to jet, but I hope Teddy does. Listen, maybe I'm just being a homer on him, but yeah, like I like Teddy as a player, and I want to see good things. He's one of those people, like going through what he went through, like that sucks, and then coming back, and then having it happen again, like it's just like, am I ever going to be able to do this? But he powered through. He got back on the field, and I always want to see him and players like him do good. So,
also it says here Pickens for my quarterback 4. That's Kenny Pickett. This is kind of one of those things where I'm certainly not starting him.
Yeah,
but I've had rookie quarterbacks come in and surprise me before. Herbert came in and was an absolute star, and that team wasn't good before. So
I mean, Pickett is Pickett's
You got a
got
bench spot.
show me what I'm getting first. I think the next couple games he has they're not easy. He does have a stretch of easier games after the next couple weeks. So, if he can survive this little stretch here and like show that he can complete passes and like be accurate, maybe we have an outside QB1 that you could start over like certain matchups. You can just flip flop between. I'm hoping like I have some George Pickens. I don't have any Deontay Johnson, but like I have some George Pickens on my benches. So like I'm hoping that everything turns out well and I can actually start him because Pickens is, they have high hopes on him, and Kenny Pickett's, from what I hear, is not terrible. So,
well, even if he is, he loves George Pickens. So
this is true.
That's all you need. That's all you need.
This is true. Yep. I guess we did see that with Matt Stafford and Calvin Johnson for many years.
Shit, Matt. Yeah. I mean, look at
shitty teams with shitty quarterbacks thrown to decent players. So
look at what Matt Stafford did for Kenny Golladay.
I just can't believe it. The Giants are. I don't know what's going on there. That's
JM
so bad.
Says Pickett is the GOAT.
Yeah, that's Dylan. We don't listen to Dylan because he's an active homer. He's a Steelers homer and never says anything bad against his team. So we ignore those comments.
I'd certainly imagine anybody
Steelers
saying that as a homer. Yeah.
No, you got to be real. Like I know that the Raiders aren't good. I can tell you why they're not good, and I can tell you when they can be good. I'm not going to sit there and worship Kenny Pickett like this guy does. So I don't know if you follow Dylan or Pony Zook on Twitter, but you should just tag them and just say Kenny Pickens or Mike Tomlin and just follow the thread. It's pretty funny. It's good entertainment on like a slow day when you need something to keep you in it.
Noted. Let's check out tight end. I'm actually a little excited about tight end.
100%. Get that out of there. Get this up there. These seem like reoccurring names since week 2 between us, so we pretty much matched up. Yeah, I left Evan Ingram off there. I don't know. I think he's going to be I just don't trust it. I don't trust Evan Ingram. Like I thought it was fine the first couple of weeks, and then like his targets dumped off a little bit, and I just don't know if like he's the 1, 2, 3. Like I don't know what look he is in there. I obviously Kirk is look number 1. Zay Jones is gonna have to be up there. He has James Robinson he can dump off to, so Ingram's probably like 4th, 5th, depending.
Yeah, he's probably like a 3B, I guess, with 3 being whichever back is in, and then kind of him. But
Hayden Hurst's targets are starting to go. They're not. He was getting targeted week 1 and week 2. Week 3 dropped off. Last week he had the touchdown. I think it's potentially matchup based. Tunyon is one I wanted to get on there. I like Tunyon. Tunyon's starting to come back to roots with Aaron, which is nice.
Snap percentage is up every week, I believe. He's coming around. Sammy Watkins is on IR. He doesn't trust a lot of those guys. He's not, he was looking all right before he tore his ACL last year. So, and the year before he had a great season. He can get back to 80% of that for him. He's, mid-end tight end 1 probably.
Yeah, I feel like the Packers are just getting it better week to week. They have the rookies starting to come around. Christian Watson starting to get more targets. He loves Romeo Dubes. Got another touchdown this past week. Lazard. Like they have the weapons. They just I don't know. I don't know if it's the defense that needs a little bit of a tuning up. Rodgers maybe has to kick a little bit more of the rust out. Get a little more flexible, but they have everything on offense, it seems. The big thing for the longest time was I don't have wide receivers. Then they got rid of Devontae, but the 2 rookies they have they seem fine. They seem capable of doing what they need to do to get a job done. So.
Well, I mean, there's a reason Watson wasn't on either list, right? Like, I think the jury's out on him, but Dobbs looks good. I mean,
Dobbs probably won't make a list for. I mean, it's just tough to add Dobbs. Like, it's one of those super deep rosters again. Like, if you're in a deep league.
No, I picked Dobbs up on a bunch of teams last week.
Oh, yeah, but I'm saying for starting purposes, like it's hard to start him over what you have. Like he's
Yeah, I think you can start
tough.
Lazard. He's like a wide receiver 3. But
Onions definitely in the start range now, I think. I don't think
I think so.
Yeah, he's a plug and play. I would prefer him definitely over Ingram, probably Conklin and Hurst.
Yeah, Conklin's interesting because
I'm still on my man Conklin though, all the way.
I mean, he started off fire. He was getting so many targets. We just a little bit unknown with Zach Wilson, right? So
Zach got him the ball a little bit this past weekend, which was good to see. It's encouraging.
Yeah, no, it was inspiring. I kind of thought it'd be like a 0 target, sound the alarms, drop him in every league type scenario. So it wasn't that.
And then big Mo Cox is. It looks like he's starting to come around and get adjusted with Matt Ryan. Those targets have gone up. He got another touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's one of those, like, can you trust him? Him and Will Dissly, to me, like, Disley's starting, I think, to come around, but also, like, it's hard to put any stock into that game because Gino could just throw it to whoever he wanted, essentially.
Well, I mean, Disley's got a touchdown, I think, in 3 games this year.
3 or 4, yeah.
But, I mean,
I think it was the targets, I think.
Colby Parkinson is getting looks. Noah Fant is getting looks. I mean, they're legitimately splitting between 3 tight ends, and none of those guys are the top 2 targets.
Disley was at 73% of the snaps this week, 60 last, 47, 67. So he's getting the snaps. It's just the target share isn't there. He had 4 targets, and that was season high this past week.
They paid him. He's like a top 10 paid tight end. So they obviously believe in him, but you know,
they also have Noah Fant. Yeah.
And Colby Parkinson,
And Colby Parkinson, yeah. So, like, that's the thing. Like, they're all of the tight ends are getting 3 to 4 targets a game. That's the issue with that. If they settle into one and it ends up being Disley and he ends up getting 6 to 8 targets a game, that's pretty. That's we're in a starting range.
I don't think they're doing that without an injury.
Yeah, I think he's just on the monitor list for me, but he's a name to definitely, like, keep on the back.
If you don't have a tight end, he's got as good a chance of getting a touchdown week over week as anybody else. So, you know, it's just kind of would you rather have a guy? I don't know. I'd be nervous to start him. He's more of definitely a DFS play.
Yeah, DFS, absolutely. It's hard. It's like I said, and if you're in a deep league, you know, 15 or 14 players or more, then you're kind of forced to start not great tight ends, but you want a tight end with high upside who's going to score a touchdown. And if he has the touchdown potential, then sometimes that's really all you need to get there. Conklin, I think he's just going to get consistent targets, and by consistent, like, 6 a game, that's consistent for a tight end.
You'll take that from a tight end.
Hayden Hurst, like, that's another offense they can be a high-powered offense when it starts to click. Hurst will probably feast, I feel. It's just another one of those, like, when. Like, the Packers can come around. We see it. Like, they're starting to, like, everything's starting to sync up. We're seeing it a little bit with the Bengals, but, like, we know what the Bengals are capable of. They were just in the Super Bowl. So, like,
right.
Sometimes you just got to wake up a little bit. It takes a little bit to wake up, but we know what that team is capable of for fantasy football. And having a tight end in that kind of offense, like, you can't go wrong. You really can't.
All right, running backs this week.
Yeah, running backs pretty deep. I don't know. I don't know what. I think my list, just from looking at it, I think Mostert's like my top target.
Mm-hmm.
And then if we get more news about Jonathan Taylor, it probably goes to Hines.
Hines is only 31% rostered.
Yeah, it was really weird. Also, those might be flip-flopped. Because Algier and Hines.
Oh yeah, okay, they must.
Yeah, the names are misplaced on it. But actually, let me double check and make sure that those are correct real quick.
That Hines has got to be higher than that.
Yeah, I think Hines is the. Algier is 32%. Hines is, I believe, he was just under just under. Now he's at 67%. So technically doesn't make the cutoff, but has to be mentioned.
So when you put Latavius Murray on this list, what team was he playing for?
He just got claimed from the Saints because the Saints are dumber than hell for some reason.
Yeah,
he looked good. Like he looked good.
Bronco. Yeah, there's
he's a Bronco now. So that's why I have him. Like Melvin Gordon is the obvious add, but he is fumbling like crazy, and I don't know how much.
He's 90% rostered or something.
Yeah, he also doesn't qualify, but like he's just fumbling like crazy. And I see people talking about Mike Boone. Mike Boone is good, but I don't think he's better than Murray. And like we saw Murray on Sunday run the ball. Like
I think Mike Boone is probably a little more explosive, and he's gotten more targets than I would have thought. And he was getting work even when they had everybody. But now that they signed Murray, I don't really want either.
Yeah, like I'm on this list. I'm realistically only targeting Mostert. Algier.
No, I think you got to target Algier.
I'm going to target Algier, but I'm prepared to not spend as much as the next person just because of the Hundley. And also Damian Williams is about to come back too. And Damian Williams was supposed to be part of that offense. So, like, it's tough. Like, I'm not putting a lot of my fab into that. I'm going to direct most of my fab into the Mostert edition. And I'll sprinkle something on Murray. Like I said, I like the way Murray looked on Sunday for the Saints.
He looked better than what I thought he
would. He looked ready to run. So they literally just called him off the practice squad too to come up. So I think Murray, if gets the opportunity, it should be Melvin Gordon. But
I think it will be like
if he keeps fumbling, if he's producing and fumbling, I think it's different. But if he's just like 20 yards, 2 fumbles, I could see them just like, all right, you're done, bro. Like you're taking a seat for a little bit.
I did see a lot of Twitter people bringing up the idea of them trading for Kareem Hunt, which I don't think the Browns will do without overpaying for a guy, but that would be fun.
Yeah. I mean, I hope they don't. You know, for me, I hope the Broncos never figure it out and they just lose the rest of the season. But obviously, I'm a Raiders fan, so that's what I want. But
someone analyze how bad Jonathan Taylor is, Metaverse King says.
I don't know about that. I don't want to believe it. I just want to believe it's like a rough start.
I don't really. Well, he's been a lot made up, but I think it's mostly a Colts issue.
Yeah, the Colts are really bad. They shouldn't be this bad, but they have Matt Ryan, who they thought was better than Carson Wentz, who might be slightly better than Carson Wentz, but both are. It's not looking too good.
I mean,
I don't even know.
Jonathan Taylor is the 22nd running back in PPR, so he's not killing you. Granted, you paid a ton for him.
Like he's still all right. So he's still got 20 touches. Like that's not terrible. He's getting the touches. He's just not doing anything with them. And I don't know if Tennessee's run defense is that good.
I don't think they are.
He also had a fumble. I mean, I want to chalk it up to a bad. I want to chalk it up to a bad game, but he's also like 75% of the snaps and 88% of the snaps.
After 4 weeks last year, he was a back end RB2. He was somewhere around like running back 18 or 19, and finished as the overall one.
People were dropping him and trading him for peanuts last year too, and then the people that picked him up and actually traded for him were like, they ended up winning the championship because of it. So it's like. You have to have. I understand he's a first and second round pick, like or a number 1, number 2 pick for most people. You know, you gotta drop. We can't drop him. Let someone else pick him up and let them win. Like I would rather let him rot on my bench and him just have a bad season if that's what it's going to come down to. But like,
I mean, of course you're not going to drop him. I might look at my league where I got a little leeway and see if I can't trade for him.
Yeah, I mean, auction league, it's the same as having the number 1 overall pick. Like you're blowing, like you want to hit on your first and second round picks, but you definitely want to hit on your $60 to $70 players also. Like,
right,
my $50 Alvin Kamara is not worth $50 at this moment, so it's like that's tough. Mike Thomas, my $10 Mike Thomas, I'm okay with him missing. Like, I paid $10 for him. Like, I'm fine with that. I knew what I was getting into.
Once it's over, we're on to week 2. I don't really care what I paid anymore. I just want.
Yeah, after that,
I got no problem benching guys I paid up for. I mean, yeah,
fantasy football is about scoring the most points you possibly can, and if it looks like your player's in a rut, and you kind of have to like just like, all right, I can't afford it this week. Like, feel like I'm 1-3. Like, I can't afford to make any more mistakes or have any more mistakes happen. So it's like, am I going to bench Jonathan Taylor if I have him on my team? No, because as soon as I do, he's going to boom, and I'm going to miss out on it. But also, it's like he's still getting 20 touches a game. So I'm not benching 20 touches a game. I'm not doing it.
If you're 0-4. And he might not even play this week, and somebody's going to pay you pre-draft style value, I think you got to consider moving him.
Yeah, I think this week is
three legit starters.
Yeah, I think this is the week you have to do it. Anything after this, it kind of looks like, depending where you're trading it to, it kind of looks like collusion. Like, if you're 0-4 and you're trading into a 4-0 team, like, and the trade doesn't look like you're making it for you to like try and fight back and win. A little shaky, but if you can unload him to one of the top teams in the standings and get, I would say 2 to 3 solid. Like, if you can get 2 studs, or
you need studs.
Yeah, you have to get at least a stud or 2 plus playables. Like that's the kind of trade. Like, I would love to be able to like.
I think you need 3 guys you're going to start this week if you do that trade.
Yeah, you need starters. You can't trade an all-star and not get like you can't make someone else's team better and make your team worse. Like, you have to make your team better also.
If I'm 4-0, 3-1, I mean, my bench is stacked in KFFL. Like, I would give 3 starters to Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, 100%. If you have the depth, like, then 100%. But if you're like one of those top teams and you don't have the depth, he's just not on the list. Like, you're looking at the waiver wire to try and build up your depth at that point. But yeah, I don't think Taylor is as bad as he looked this game. Like, obviously, week 1 we saw what he's capable of. Week 2 he got 21 touches. This past week he got 20 touches and got 40 yards. Like, that's gonna happen. It's not fun to watch, obviously, because you put so much stock into it, but it's gonna happen.
Well, they need Pittman to play and be healthy too. That's gonna open him up.
Yeah,
nothing that Ryan has done that's getting.
Matt Ryan's not going to do anything. That's the problem. Matt Ryan just has to get the ball to his playmakers and let them do their jobs. But if he can't get the ball to him, then it's going to be a bad season, a real bad season.
Let's see who else I got on my list that you can't see. So Rachaad White got some love.
Yeah, I think I had him on my list as well.
Upsides through the roof there.
Yeah, Rachaad White start. Yeah, yep. He's on my. Where's my damn list at? My original one. Yep. Rachaad White I have as a stash. Pick him up and hold him for a couple weeks and see how that turns out. But yeah, I think he's in the territory where we can start looking and see. I guess Keyshawn Vaughn is off the table. It looks like they're not going to do anything with him, unfortunately. No. I thought he was going to be like their pass catcher, but nothing. Giovanni Bernard's hurt, out, I believe. So
I mean, I like J.D. McKissick too. He's 42% rostered. They hate Antonio Gibson. So, especially in full PPR, McKissick you could start this week. It's not, what you love to do, but you're pretty confident he's going to get you, low teams.
They also have
points.
You have him on your list, but Brian Robinson's also due to come back. So, like that, we don't know if he's going to get any of the passing down work. He could, but I can't imagine right away.
I mean, he's still my top ad because he's got the potential to be,
Well, he was their number 1 before.
Right. We don't know for sure he is going to play this week.
Yeah, but I imagine when he's healthy and ready to come back, then he's going to be their guy. They liked him in preseason. He was listed as the number 1 on the depth chart, and then the unfortunate situation. But now it looks like he's on track to be back. So maybe week 6, maybe he doesn't play this week, but week 6 he gets some work and then see where you go from there.
I mean, McKissick, I think, is probably in full PPR a low-end RB2 if Robinson's still out. He got way more carries than he's used to. I mean,
They should have a better matchup this week too.
Well, Dallas is strong.
Dallas has not allowed any quarterback to throw for more than 180 yards this year. So keep that in mind when you have that matchup. That's why I didn't want. He was the unfortunate quarterback I forgot to drop for golf last week. So that also was just like shooting myself in the foot. I knew that I knew that stat, and I knew that was like, yeah, they could easily do this to Carson Wentz. But yeah, the Cowboys defense is
certainly an inspiration in the pickup and play of Geno.
Yeah, I was sick. I was sick.
And then Pacheco at 23% rostered. He's getting more work. McKinnon's getting less. He's explosive. So I think he's got potential to kind of,
yeah, he had 11 for 63 on 20% of the snaps. So that's 5.7. For Pacheco. 5.7 yards per carry, which is, that's great. That's excellent. It's elite. So obviously I'm sure they're going to want to see if he can continue doing that. McKinnon's play time is cut in half from the week before. So,
yeah, he's done. He's not rosterable.
Yeah, so I guess it's going to fall between Pacheco and Clyde.
Oh,
so they might have a nice one too. They might like Pacheco more.
I did have a tight end that I forgot to mention, which is Kate Otten at 2% rostered.
Oh, yeah.
Cameron Brate went out. All the receivers can't stay healthy.
It's kind of crazy too because
chemistry for a rookie tight end.
Brate got peppered with targets this week too, which was nice to see. And then
we got a concussion, I think.
They just can't get it together. My man Tom's is going through it down there. Leaving his wife now. Can't get his receivers on the field. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who do they play this week? They have somebody. I was like, damn, I don't know if I like this matchup, but you know what? Right now, I think it doesn't matter. I don't think Tampa Bay's defense is what we thought it was going to be. It was good last year.
Well, they got Atlanta, so they could certainly be exposed.
Damn, no Patterson. Probably still start Drake London. You do whatever you want with
Kyle Pitts. Yeah.
Yeah, you do whatever you want with Kyle Pitts. That's your decision. You drafted him. You make the decision. You made the bed. You sleep in it.
We only got a couple minutes through those DSTs because I actually think I called the Eagles a week or two ago. They've been a smash play, and I feel like I got a similar feeling about my number one defense here.
Go ahead. I got one.
I'll leave the graphic.
Do we have a graphic? I don't know if we have a graphic for it.
Oh, well,
I didn't turn in defenses this week, so there's probably not a graphic.
All right, what do you got? Let's see if it's the same.
I like Jacksonville this week, and
I like Jacksonville
for the foreseeable future. They're not playing terrible, and they're getting turnovers, and it is
the number
nice.
3 or number 4 defense, and especially kind of my thing. Like I was like, get the Eagles, start them every week. Don't waste any more fab on a defense. Jags are like number 3 or number 4 defense. Their schedule's not bad. Even against the Eagles, who have been an absolutely explosive offense, they looked all right. They had a pick 6, I think. But they were
the first play or the first drive of the game.
They were number 3 going into the week, and they hadn't had any defensive touchdowns. So it's not like they just had like some crazy scores that skewed them. They look strong. And then I had I had Minnesota on my list.
Somebody actually owns Minnesota in my league. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, they're like, let me tell you, they are 27% roster.
Another one, which I think people just maybe last week's game just like turned them off, but like I see people dropping the Ravens defense. I don't know if that's 100% correct. Like they get Cincy this week. It's a division game. Anything could happen, but they get the Giants, they get Cleveland, Tampa, New Orleans, and then they're on a bye. And then like the playoff schedule for them is Jacksonville, Denver, Pittsburgh, Cleveland. So I refuse to believe that Baltimore is like they're not terrible. They had 11 points for week 1, 7, 11, and 5 last week. They've had interceptions in every game, sacks in every game. Yeah, even getting torched. Like Miami put 42 up and they still scored 7 points. On a normal day, that's like you're negative. New England put 26 up. They ended up with 11. Last week, 23, and they ended up with 5. But yeah, they have a sack in every game, interception in every game, and a fumble recovery in 3 or 4 games so far. I don't think it's terrible. Basically, they look like, if you look at Jacksonville, it's almost similar. It's not to the T, but Jacksonville, a sack in each game, interception in each game.
Maybe you're right. I think it's just because they've given up so many points that it just looks bad.
That's the thing, yeah. Like in normal, like a bad defense, you would see like the minus points, but like they're capable of making like interceptions, sacks, special teams, touchdowns. Duvernay, we seen return a touchdown a couple weeks ago. Like, I think that I'm definitely on the Jacksonville as like my top ad this week. If you need to, I'm good. I have the Eagles, so I'm not worried about it anymore. But if you did not get the Eagles last week and you have a chance to get Jacksonville, I think Jacksonville. I also like the Ravens if they're available. And then you mentioned
Minnesota's a 1 week play just because they play Chicago.
That's fair. That might also
I don't actually think they're good, but it's just a play.
Yeah, that also might be the thing. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this week's show. That was the rundown, a little bit tighter this week, and I think we're getting better each week we go. We start getting doing some work and getting some guests to come on and do some segments that way. But yeah, I like where we're at. We're pretty much on the same page this week for who we would add and stuff. So we just got to turn it around on my end. You're doing good. You're still firing through. You just got to see if you can pull off one of these high scores and get paid out real quick.
That's right.
But yeah,
I did win that Steed, so I'm still.
That's also very good. That's also very good. Winning a
I'm going to comb the Twitterverse, see if I can get another side bet going for week 5. So
you got to comb get in the Discord. Discord looked like it was a little chatty over the weekend. So I hung out there Saturday for the fights and Sunday for football. So
yeah,
Discord seems to be popping off when things are happening. So, but yeah,
all right. Good luck next week.
Absolutely. Good luck to you as well. That's our show for this week. We'll see you all next week.